Dave again from DQ Studios and Not So Ancient Chinese Secrets, and I'm here to share with you our custom function settings that we've done for our Phottix Mitros Plus flashes. As wedding photographers, we really want to set them up so they're going to be stealthy and ready to be shooting whenever we can. And we're going to be using these primarily as remote flashes to be receivers with the Odin system. But let's just take a look, and to get to the custom function section, all you need to do is press and hold the left button on the rocker dial here for 2 seconds, and then you will do that right now, and you get to go into your custom functions. So the first thing, distance units. Now I know I am Canadian and I'm supposed to think in imperial units, but my brain still thinks of distance in feet, so I've changed that to feet here. Let's move on. Custom function 1, auto idle. Now I don't want this to go into idle because I want it to be ready for me to shoot whenever I want to shoot, so I disable the auto idle. Custom function 2, modeling flash. Now I don't use the modeling flash and I don't want to use up the batteries for modeling flash if I hit test fire by accident, so I just disable it altogether. Now the wide panel, which is this built-in diffuser flap, we don't have a 14 or 15 millimeter lens, so we disable this one as well. And the custom function 4, slave exposure beep, we disable that so it doesn't have a beep every time it goes off as a slave. And custom function 5, exposure confirmation indicator, we disable that so it doesn't get annoying or distracting. Quick flash, now this is interesting. By default it is disabled. But what Quick Flash does is, let's say you have your power setting set for full power, 1/1, and when it's disabled, it will wait until the capacitor is charged up to that full power of 1/1 before it discharges that flash. With Quick Flash enabled, which is what we do, it will give whatever power it has and let that go. And so our theory is that some flash is better than no flash in the heat of a shoot. And so we enable that quick flash in it as well. One thing to note, there is a battery indicator. I'm just going to press here. You do see that battery indicator on the top right. And I've noticed that even though the battery indicator may look like it's fully charged, and we use the, what batteries are these? Let me show you. The Enelope from Sanyo. These are great batteries, but even if that battery indicator says it's fully loaded, we find that sometimes the recycle times can be decreased, and I thought, that's odd, but quickly that can be remedied by changing to a fresh set of batteries. So don't always trust the battery indicator. If you notice that your recycle times are slowing, it could be either it's heating up so that it has to slow down, or you just throw a fresh set of batteries in and see what happens. But anyways, for quick flash, we enable it so we can get some flash out of that. Now test firing, we want to conserve battery power, so I don't know why you'd ever want full output, but you can choose full output, but the default 1/32 is fine for us. Autofocus assist light, and this is defaulted to enable, and this is great. So if we ever are in a situation where it's really low light or there's no contrast on the subject, then this will throw a beam just like the Nikon flashes will to allow us to focus. So that's nice. Custom function 9, DX or FX format. Now DX or FX. DX is their crop sensor and FX is full frame. We don't have any crop sensor, so we don't use that at all. So we just stick to number 1, FX, and deal with that there. Whoops, let's get back into there. Number 10, slave idle timer. Default 60 minutes, longer than 10 minutes, good for us. Slave auto off after 8 hours. Sure, that's enough time for me to find my flash. Now recycle power, you could choose just to use your external power pack, but we don't use external power packs. We prefer to travel light, keep these on our hip with our quick lips, and just shoot on the go with our strobes. Beep confirmation, disabled, but you'll notice that even when it's disabled, when you're in the different modes and you're changing and you want to press and hold, whoa, bad Dave. So press and hold, it still beeps. Isn't that odd? I wonder if they're going to change that in a firmware update or whatever, but I'd love it for it to be more stealthy than that when it's disabled. Custom function 14, auto backlight, really nice in low light. Of course you want to keep that. TTL preference, and this is the last custom function. Ours is at 0, but if you always find yourself changing the TTL to minus or plus on either side, you can just change the preference right here and not deal with it again. Nice and simple. So those are our custom functions. One other little minor weird thing that we found is when we use this as a Odin transmitter on our camera. For some reason, on our Nikon DFs, if we're at the FP sync of 250th and it's set like that in our custom function on our camera, the bottom 1/5 of the frame is actually dark. It doesn't expose the full frame, and it's only in this Odin transmitter mode that that happens. If we're in the regular mode where it's not using a transmitter, it's just TTL, then the full frame is exposed as expected. So I think hopefully they'll come up with a firmware update to fix that as well. And the other really quite minor niggle that I have is the fact that whenever you're triggering these as remote flashes, that they always have a pre-flash, even when they're triggered as a manual flash, not even TTL. So even when they don't need to meter it, they do use up a little bit of battery power and require a pre-flash. But you know what? We'll have to see in real-world shooting whether that really makes a difference and kills our batteries faster or not. But so far, so good. And the Mitros Plus, you can take a look at the full review and the other videos on the blog. Thanks for watching.